Hello, and welcome to That's What I'm Trying to Tell You, the podcast where women from different generations sit down to share their unique perspectives on life, current events, and everything in between. So join us as we navigate through topics with laughter, a little wisdom, and a whole lot of authenticity. I think we've had a lot on our minds this week.
Get out of her purse. Get out of her purse.
We're recording.
It's
Pick it up.
It's
Lord.
that tuna sandwich.
It smells like, he smells like all to be damned.
Okay.
I can smell it. You smell it here?
Yeah.
I do.
Tried to clean it.
I
It
honestly
bit
don't.
me.
Mm-hmm. We're recording, so anyway, that's how a typical episode will start. My dog, we're recording at our condo apartment, and he decides to do what he wants when he wants to. So anyway, this week on the show, Catherine, you had some good points you were bringing up about feminism and where we are, and
Yeah, I ran into a few stories this week, which made me think about, as a Gen Xer baby boomer generation for me and Diane,
Mhm.
what we were told feminism was and where we were going as women in the 70s, say, right? And kind of get out from the male patriarchy, throw out that male gaze, we define what beauty is
Yes.
and all of that.
my body, my choice.
Right. No, exactly. What was the book, right? Wasn't there that famous book, Our Bodies, Ourselves, or something like that, right?
That's right.
That was a hugely famous thing. And I guess that kind of popped into my mind when my son's girlfriend just came back from a weekend birthday trip with her girlfriends to Miami. She was telling me about club culture. Like, I haven't gone to a nightclub or one of these exclusive nightclubs for 20 years, probably at least. But I mean, I'd seen things on TV shows and, there's the rope and the bouncers and stuff. And, but she was telling me about how in Miami, well, I guess maybe in LA too, but in Miami, you have these people, these club promoters, I guess they're called, and they walk around the beach and they walk around South Beach and they look at the girls, and if they deem you hot enough, and needless to say, these promoters are all men.
Hot enough.
Yeah, if they deem you hot enough, they will issue an invitation to you and say, I'm a promoter at this club, you guys can come on in. So apparently, and then the chosen few girls, right, they get let in, they get VIP seating, bottle service, all of
The
that.
works.
Right? She said that a friend of hers who went on the trip, this other girl's boyfriend was friends with a promoter of a very exclusive club in Miami. And told them, and the boyfriend had said, oh, I'll tell my friend, the promoter, that you girls are going to be down there. Then they were down in Miami. They contact this promoter guy. And the promoter says to them, well, send me pictures of each of you because I have a hookup. But if I don't think you're up to my standard, I'm not going to put my reputation on the line and say you guys get going.
Rejection from the...
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I was going to say, it sounds like a dating app
And so
situation.
they sent him pictures. And then she said when they got there, they said, oh, so-and-so, gave us an invitation. And she said, even then, the bouncers, there were two of them, just stood there and just looked each of them up and down, and then didn't even say a word, just sort of opened the rope so that they could go through.
This is after they sent
This
pictures.
is after they sent pictures to this promoter person.
Good grief.
And the whole thing, I mean, and then, so she said, like, in the club, she goes, well, really, it's not even that exciting when you get into these places. Like, there's just a bunch of, there's a bunch of women in there, there's a bunch of guys, and they're sort of separate. Nobody's necessarily.
So it's like a high school dance.
Yeah,
but
it's a high school
with more
dance. Yeah,
money
that's
and
what they were
all.
saying. Yeah, and it doesn't
Wow.
even look like anybody's having all that much fun. And I was thinking that, yeah, I could imagine that if that's your life, just doing that and going to these places, it's kind of sad. But the whole thing just left such a nasty taste in my mouth about this judgment these people are making on whether you're hot enough to enter some club. And I'm thinking, what's this doing to the brains of these 20-year-olds that,
Or, in
that
this
want to
culture.
do this?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's the same thing with the apps. I mean, that's just no different from, I mean, all the apps are different. Like Bumble, maybe the women choose the men, or another one, the men choose the women. And then when you are chosen, you know you are, and then boom, you're closed out from it. I mean,
Well, I
it's
mean,
just
I
like,
think, right, doesn't I can't remember who said this, but I'm thinking that maybe a lot of people or men, well, actually, I can't just say men, but maybe a lot of people go on these apps because they just want validation.
They for sure. Yes.
They're not necessarily serious about seeing somebody or that really, really looking for somebody. They just want the validation that people find them attractive,
That, and
right?
probably because the culture is such now where you can a profession as an influencer is a real career path for people now,
Yeah,
especially for
sadly.
women, sadly.
Sadly.
And
make a lot of money.
they make a lot of money, but you don't even, and I know people will probably say, well, what do you mean talent? But you don't even have to have talent anymore to become quote unquote famous. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't think any of the Kardashians can like sing or tap dance or, well, Kim acts from time to time, right? And I don't particularly like her, but she's not the worst to watch on screen.
Really, I've never seen
Yeah, I think she's been in like a Tyler Perry movie and something else. And then she released a single a few years back. I didn't like
really?
that. Yeah, that was like
So
15
she's
years ago.
trying.
She's trying. She's trying. I guess that was pre-Kanye, so the production value wasn't as good, but
Well, I guess she could act because, I mean, well, she was in that tape, which originally made her
right.
famous.
The Ray J. His was actually a good Shay Shay interview. Anyway, that's a separate topic. But the fact that this influencer culture career is a thing, and that's solely based on if people approve of you or not. So it's 100% validation based, and if people like you, great, you're going to make hundreds of thousands, if not millions. So I think it's reaching over to the men now, and then it creates that culture when in dating, whatever you do, like, oh, people are judging me, let me at least go and see that I'm still okay, I still look good, people still want me. And it's just I talk about this with my mom all the time, like the thoughts I have now, and I'm a pretty even keeled person, but every now and then I'll have some anxious thoughts or slightly compare myself even, or just be
Yeah,
on
I mean, it's
social
human
media too
nature,
much,
right? I
right?
mean, it's tapping into a lot of human nature, right?
But I think, like, I wasn't even having these thoughts in 2007, and I was, what, 14 years old then? Barely Facebook was the thing, MySpace you went on, but the thoughts I have now compared to when I was younger, I'm like, it's been such a huge shift, and I'm scared I'll never get back, but I try to limit my technology usage now, and, of course, there are studies coming out about how unhealthy it is for your mental health and for a child's development, but
You're constantly checking yourself.
checking yourself and checking the technology and trying to be entertained. Yeah.
The validation that you're okay as a person, right? That people like you. I mean, just that whole chasing likes things, and well, I guess with Facebook, it was how many friends do
How
you
many
have?
right,
And you
yeah.
see these people with 1,000 friends. I'm like, I'm sorry, nobody has 1,000 real friends.
Right.
So what you're basically doing is every single person you ever meet, however peripherally your lives
Mhm.
It's
touch,
the first thing that people say to you now.
you know.
Can I have your Insta?
Your IG.
Yeah.
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 They
Yeah.
don't even ask for your business card is your Instagram or your social
Oh,
media
yeah,
now.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I have a public account because I put, the things that I make on there.
Mhm.
That's really all I post. It's very funny the number of so I get friend requests from anybody since it's public, and the kinds of people that will wanna, be friends with me or what is it, follow me. I'm just sort of like, "You must just be doing this to add another person because I don't see anything remotely
Right.
similar as to why you would be wanting to follow me, but okay, fine."
Mhm.
I just worry about this judgment thing. Like, what is this doing to, would say, particularly young women's minds and everything, right? Because, when you're a young teenage girl, everybody wants approval. You want to be seen as attractive. And,
Mhm.
the whole women's movement was supposed to be, taking that power into yourself.
Mhm.
And here with like this club culture thing, you're handing the whole entire process over to some random guy you don't
Man.
even know.
Mhm.
You might actually hate the kind of person he is, you probably would. What is that
Or
doing
worse.
to
It
people?
What
could be
effect,
something
right?
even worse.
You
Just to
know,
have fun, in air
or
quotes.
just to be able to say you got into this place, right? I just totally don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. And then, sorry, you gonna say?
No, I was going to say, so then you wonder why people, well, probably because people aren't taught, but now I know there's a group of people, I want to say in New York, that I read about, and they are anti
Oh yeah, it's a group of students. It was
social
like
media.
a CBS story, but it's a teacher that kind of started it and the students caught on. There's a group of people that were called the Luddites. I think it was in some kind of fictional writing. And the Luddites kind of detested all things technologically
Right. I mean,
progressive.
I know, like, if you call somebody a Luddite, that's what that means.
Me, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think they took the connotation of that word and turned it. So these kids hang out in Central Park from like 1 to 4 on the weekends or something.
I have to go look for them
Right?
in New York.
No technology, no nothing, no phones. And then,
They're taught.
yeah, my only concern is like, well, the pedophiles watching this story, like they know some kids are in the park from
Right, right, and don't have
cell
a phone,
phones or anything,
nothing to
but
track them.
hopefully that, that won't happen. But I think it's pretty cool. I think it gives me hope because I think that as much as Gen Z annoys me sometimes, they are getting some things right because I guess it's the culture has just come back around. I see a lot of what I was doing as a kid, they're doing again. Now they might be the social media generation where they're raised with it. I wasn't, but they still kind of get the importance of having friends and being authentic, even if it's seen as rude by the older generations. I think they will turn out to be an authentic generation that kind of gets back to that Western innocence of like, I know myself, I don't have to constantly be posting, I don't need to seek the
Right,
approval
right.
in a weird kind of roundabout way. I don't know.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it could be that we kind of went too far in a
Mhm.
way, and so then it could be that Gen Z is saying, "Oh, wait a minute."
Because they're constantly pointing out trauma and like,
Right,
if your parents did this, if you saw your mom do this, and that's not healthy. They're all for like personal boundaries and
Establishing some sort of diagnosis.
yeah, and which is good. I mean, that's transparent in a way. I don't think you need to point out everything, but that's probably just my generation speaking. But they're all for transparency and, identifying their sexuality however they want to. So they have that freedom.
right.
In a weird kind of way. But getting back to your feminism point of first wave feminism being about the individual and true women's rights, having autonomy over your body, your mind, your spirit, I kind of think because what I follow now, I'm very big into like self improvement and
Mhm.
as I enter the dating pool, not losing myself as a woman and still trying to be authentic and still trying to attract a man that's right for me.
Right.
These people, Margarita Nazarenko comes to mind. She's Australian.
Okay.
Dating coach Anwar. They are big on your feminine energy. And first I was like, this is kind of sounds like some woo-woo shit. But the more I listen to them, the more I understand it. And the basis of their explanation of feminine energy is to always choose yourself first. So I guess that is kind of an echo of feminism still, like not losing yourself and not pedestalizing a man
Mhm.
even if he's somebody you really like, you always wanna choose yourself because you really don't need a man, unless maybe you wanna have a kid or something, but
Oh, even then.
even
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
right? It's not necessary to have a man, but if you desire to be in a relationship with a man, that's okay, but you don't want to give up yourself for him.
Right,
So,
right.
that's the kind of my perspective now. I think feminism is still there, but it has changed quite a
Well, I
bit.
mean, it's interesting. So I don't you guys know who Emily Ratajkowski is, or
Oh,
say
yeah,
how to pronounce her
Predator,
name.
whatever name, yeah,
But,
actress,
I yeah, she and I yeah, I don't
model actress.
model/actress,
Mhm,
yes. So, of course, she's beautiful, she's thin, she's got big boobs, right?
mhm,
Yeah, so Emily Ratajkowski, I find her very problematic
mhm,
because she loves to spout the feminine energy and how she's so powerful in her femininity, and my problem is she does these, like, what does she do? She did this for some protest thing. She sat down naked or topless on the
Lord.
street, and everybody was like, "Oh my God," and she was like, "I'm just this is my feminine power," and it just really annoys me because I'm like,
That's an
you
excuse.
totally fit the male gaze as to what is attractive, what is sexy,
Mhm.
and you're just using that and then throwing in this thing that, oh, you're a feminist and so you can do whatever you want. But really what you're doing is just feeding into getting more male attention
Mhm.
and likes and gratification and self-worth, but
Mhm.
you just yeah,
Self-aggrandizement.
yeah, exactly. And it just makes me so crazy that she calls herself a feminist, just meaning I can do whatever I want, but whatever I want because I'm like, if you were like old and fat, would you be doing that?
I was gonna say,
Right.
she's not speaking for all
Yeah,
women.
No,
yeah. And
Because
it's like
I guarantee you my black ass could
right,
sit out there.
Well, I was just gonna think
Yeah.
Lizzo came to mind. Lizzo basically did that before she lost a lot of her
right,
weight
right,
every
right,
time she was out in public.
Like a dog.
Right.
right,
And she's
right.
ugly and fat and this and that. The narrative was totally different. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Mhm.
And so that's why I just can give her no props for, her so-called feminism.
Mhm.
That's a whole other subject
Yeah.
because white women's approach to feminism, and I'm sorry I'm taking it to a racial view, but it's different.
Yeah,
It's different.
it is. They have always had, I mean, who gave suffrage, right? Female suffrage. White women got the right to vote first.
Mhm.
When did that trickle down to women of other ethnicities? Probably
I have no
decades
idea,
later.
actually.
Right? Yeah. I don't that would be interesting to find out
Yeah,
because I know it didn't apply to black and brown women
yeah.
at all.
And then affirmative action and all of that stuff,
Mhm.
whole nother, it
White
pisses
women
me off
benefited.
this as well. If it wasn't for affirmative action, that's a whole nother subject.
You mean you mean white women gaining with or using affirmative action to post gains and whatever, they included women in that
Mhm.
sort of thing. Yeah.
Mhm.
But back to what you were saying.
But I guess, another thing that crossed my mind with this, where are we exactly with feminism is, we talked a little bit at one point about the Kardashian business empire. And
Nipple
we
bras.
talked about Big Kim with her nipple bras, and I'm just like, what is that?
Really?
What is that saying for women and empower? Like, okay, I'm gonna show my nipples.
Exactly.
I mean,
But don't touch them and don't
right?
look at them.
Yeah, God
Mhm.
forbid you look.
Mhm.
But I
Right?
want everybody else to see that their nipples
Right.
showing.
Because hashtag me too. You can't touch me.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just like, I don't understand that. And then I saw this little news thing about her sister, Courtney, has some business. And I don't know.
Is that the one that's married to the drummer from Blink 182?
I think yeah, I don't know
Okay.
if she still was, whatever.
Yeah.
But apparently she does like supposed health products, supplements. So she has a supplement that is vagina vitamins.
Oh boy. Yeah, I've seen
Make your vagina smell and taste better.
Oh, so she has that now.
Yes.
What's
Well,
the company called? LEM?
yeah, LEMME.
That's her.
Yep.
Because I saw, okay, funny you brought that up because I saw the ad on YouTube and I was like, whoa, this is not appropriate if a kid was watching the
Yeah.
video, number one. And I'm like, really?
Like, mommy, why does somebody's vagina
it
need to
tastes
taste a certain way?
Right.
All of
But
that.
I'm just like, why are we not enough as a natural human being? I mean, if you're a natural human being that's just sort of, let's say, normally clean, follows kind of normal hygiene,
Mm-hmm.
that's not good enough.
Right.
Like, I have to make it smell better down there and taste better, or I have to feel self-conscious about that now.
Exactly.
Mhm.
I mean, where's feminine?
Well,
Right.
and then there you go with getting everything waxed now.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
that, yeah. The
yeah,
bikini wax and the anal bleaching and all that's not enough.
yeah.
Like, what?
Or what is that, vaginal reconstruction?
Oh yeah, because
Or
uh-huh.
whatever, like, just not from you've had something catastrophic happen, but
Right.
just because you're old.
Right.
Right.
Or
Like,
you
oh,
had
I can't
6
have an old
kids or
vagina.
whatever. Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
supposed to have a fresh new
Get
vagina.
out.
Like, what the heck?
Mhm.
So all of that. Now just talk about that. All of that for women of all ages. I'm just saying there are people from
But you see, who's making us feel this way? Like,
That.
you can't you can't just smell like a normal woman or like whatever, and you can't age like a normal like.
And then everybody that clicks on it opens it up to look at it,
Mhm.
And then
and it becomes relevant.
Right, and then they say, then you have some husband somewhere, I'm sure, who's looking at their wife going, "Well, I don't understand, Nicole Kidman is 60 and looks like that.
Mhm.
Why do you look like that?"
right. hmm
Mhm.
Maybe because you stressed
Yeah.
me out, bro. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah, and I mean, it just kind of all this stuff that's supposedly women empowering, whatever, still seems to kind of circle back to if you're just natural, you're not good enough. If you're just normal, you're not good enough. You're supposed to be this other thing. And I just still feel like who's determining what that thing is? I think
Right.
it's still men.
Absolutely. And that brings me to I think about for myself, like dating culture is changing faster every year. And I don't think you're ever anybody, man, woman, child, is ever going to walk around completely unself-conscious and think they're God's gift to the world. We're all going to have our insecurities no matter how much you might work on. Maybe there's a couple Buddhist monks somewhere that, love themselves,
Yeah.
wake up fully in
And it
alignment.
paved the way.
Right.
Yeah.
Or priest, I don't know. But it just makes it harder. And I know that men have a particular, sorry to keep bringing it back to dating, but they have particularly bad luck on dating apps, I'll say, with not getting any matches, period, a lot of the time. And so a lot of men, there's a movement called men going their own way. They're like alpha, I don't know what you would call them. They're the what are they? Basically, men choosing themselves movement where they've said no to women and they don't need women and women are make their life more difficult and they suck the life out of you. Yeah,
But so wait, these are different than the
kind of like the incel guys.
right.
Yeah,
But it's different than incel. I mean,
yeah, they're like a
incels,
little more hardcore than incels.
really?
Yeah,
I thought incels were pretty harsh.
yeah, they are too.
I mean, they seemed kind of misogynistic.
Yeah, these guys are too.
There's okay, okay.
It's just like a
Something on Sunday
slight
Like there's an
morning.
ang
variation.
No,
Yeah.
I want to say
But let me
it was
finish my point. So my point was that's a lot of men now don't even want to be with women. Like they'll settle for watching porn, and there's a sex hotel, cyber sex. The robots that you
well,
can
that's what
have
the
sex
Japanese
with.
do.
Yeah, in Japan, and I think Germany was another one, or Amsterdam. So that's going to be an option, and a lot of women who actually want relationships and kids. I think a lot of men are not going to be up for that, in the future. But anyway, go ahead. Oops,
I was going to say, I saw something, I want to say it was on 60 Minutes, maybe it's about a year ago, but this is maybe a little bit different. But this was a group of men who are older, but they have chosen and committed to living with their best friends. Like they live in a group of men, all cultures. They never got married. They have jobs. They have pensions. Some of them are still working. There's quite an age range
Are they in the U.S. or?
in the U.S. And I cannot remember the story, but I watched it and they're like, you know what? I'm happy doing this.
Hmm.
They pool their finances together. They live like best friends and they're like, I'm happy and I'm doing this and I'm not going to be alone at the end of my life.
Wow, like a
They're not,
golden
they're
guy
not,
situation.
they're heterosexual.
Hmm.
These were, and the one guy said, I'm kind of a loner, but I realized as I aged, that it's not much is going to change. But I have these are my best friends. They prepare meals together. They sit down together. They're like a family.
They should get together with these women that I read about who, there were various groups of them, but they do exactly the same thing. They're older, whether they'd been married before or, had kids or whatever, but for whatever reason, they're on their own now. And they choose to live together, like 5 or 6 in a house, and they pool everything, they cook
Read about
meals
them too.
together,
Yes.
Mhm.
and it's the same thing. It's like you're not alone. You
Mhm.
have companionship. Nobody's forcing you to interact or do anything. It actually did seem pretty
Mhm.
nice.
Mhm. Well, there was the Golden Girls, right?
Yeah,
So that
yeah,
it's
that's right.
at least it works on TV and in real life,
They had
apparently.
I mean,
lives, so they dated and stuff.
Yeah.
well, yeah,
I'm sure
nice
these
people
people
could
do,
too.
right?
Yeah, yeah. There's no restriction on any of that. But
Mhm.
it's funny because we've talked a few times about dating apps, so it's been on my mind. I've been thinking about it, even though I've never used it. And
Hope you never do.
yeah, I there's something about it that was bothering me, and I couldn't figure out exactly what it was because it's so ubiquitous now, right? And so I
Mhm.
was trying to find, well, what's the argument for not doing that and for, doing it in IRL?
Mhm.
And not to say that you can't have plenty of duds, meet plenty of duds in real life,
Mhm.
but I think for me, the difference between the two is online, the first thing you see is how they look.
Mm.
And then you can read stuff that's written about like their profile,
Mhm.
but it doesn't kind of have that different impact. It doesn't have the same impact as like, well, the photo is kind of what really
Mhm.
makes you say yay or nay. But I'm thinking that in real life, like, say you want to meet people by joining clubs or doing different activities
Mm.
that interest you, and hopefully you might meet somebody else there. In those situations, yes, of course, you see the person, you see what they look like right off the bat, but you get a chance to see their personality. You see how they interact with people, you see what their demeanor towards the world is. And, so many people have a story of, this person wasn't the most handsome or the prettiest or whatever, but I love their energy. I like the way they smiled at everybody. And you just totally miss that
Mhm.
on a dating app, and I think that's my biggest issue with the apps is that just naturally you kind of immediately are first choosing based on looks and you
Mhm.
don't feel any of that personality because we've all met people that have like amazing kind of magnetic personalities
Yeah.
or whatever, and they're just absolutely nothing to look at.
Mhm.
And you just like, if you were just glancing at pictures, you'd never say, "Oh, yeah, I wanna be married to that guy."
Right.
But
Right.
they're super kind or they're super amazing, they're super smart or witty or whatever, and
Mhm.
that's my issue, I guess, with the apps.
I agree, and I think that with all this, even any kind of social media, they say we're more connected, but connected, yes, in that you can get on your phone and text somebody or call somebody and they can pick up on the other side of the world. But human beings are social creatures. We evolved in tribes, hunting and gathering and relying on one another and conversation and community. And so it still needs to happen that way. It doesn't matter what kind of technology you have.
I mean, I think, like, I was sort of running a whole lot of Anwar
Mm.
since I was doing something, so he was running in the background, and,
Mhm.
I think he says too, like, about body language and the way
Yeah,
that you respond to somebody is a huge a factor,
absolutely.
in whether you connect with somebody or not, and you just can't do that by text.
No, no, or phone call or
Right,
anything like that.
right, right.
And I think too, there's a false sense of security behind an app, like, you don't because you're not being accountable, things aren't
Yeah,
happening in real life, in real time.
it's easier to walk
Yeah,
away, I
easier to walk
guess.
away or lie. Yeah, it's just a whole it's messy, but, I think there's hope for people yet, so. Hey everyone, and thanks for tuning in to another episode. If you enjoyed what you heard, please follow, comment, and reach out on our socials. Also, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. If you resonated with anything in the episode, be it products or topics, make sure to check the show notes for additional information, or shoot us an email if you like. See you next time.